Hey, everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and this is Lords of the Night. I am the Lord of Pain, and joined as always by Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
Jesus Christ, even you!
I did not know she was going to do that.
Oh my God. Okay, so SDA is out of town, so now it's like Lady Monkey's. Okay, fine. Never mind. No,
I would tell you what Scribe is. I would tell you what Scribe's the Lord of, but he hasn't made up his mind yet.
It's true. I keep vacillating. I don't know anything.
The Lord of Puppies is away this week for Thanksgiving with her family, so we're having a few special guests, and tonight it's Polly Dub. Say hi, Polly.
Hello.
What do you want to be?
Now, how should we?
The Lord of Caffeine and Self-Loathing. How about that?
Okay.
That is very specific.
I'm a grad student. It's how we roll.
There we go. How do you prefer to be addressed? Polly Dub, Polly Dub.
Monkey, you're the only one that goes with the dub too. Everyone else is just Polly, and that's by all means. Let's just roll with Polly.
All right, Polly. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, not yet.
Oh wait, I was just told not yet because Lady Monkey doesn't have her headphones on. One second.
Jesus, who's running this show?
Okay.
God.
I've been married for 24 years. She runs the show. Is it 25? 25.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
24.
Okay, yeah, 24. Lady Monkey says Polly can go. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Polly.
I don't know. I'm 6'2". I enjoy long walks on the beach. What else would you like to know?
What's your sign?
You have a YouTube channel, correct?
Oh.
Hello. Got a whopping 18 subscribers on it, which I'm very happy about. I used to put up videos, commentary on different things. Kind of stepped away from that for a while and got into a lot more of the streaming with the Minions of the Zoo, and ended up liking that so much. I just haven't gotten back to making videos, but at YouTube time we can talk about. I just got a big inspiration to do a new video last night, but we can get into that later.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a grad student, political science, doctoral student.
Thank you, Terry Diamandis. Scribe can be Lord of Indecision. And number two, you spelled Polly's name wrong in the description. Did I?
Fly Dub.
Where'd I spell it wrong?
Where it says Ply Dub's channel.
I don't. Oh! I see that. Yeah.
How dare you? No one can understand what you're saying there.
Fuck.
Jesus.
All right.
Are you CNN?
Yes. I'm horrible at spelling, and we should all know that. Anyhow, Polly, you're part of the Minions of the Zoo, correct?
I am.
How often are you a host ever?
I've never actually hosted it. I've managed to avoid that responsibility, but I've been a guest many times. And I certainly enjoy it. I mean, there's the whole crew over there, and they're a great bunch. I mean, Scribe, you've been on. Monkey, you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey, you've been shit posting in chat, which was awesome.
I would never do such a thing. I'm a upstanding member of this community.
No, you did, and you do it again, and we all hope you will. It was awesome.
All right.
Now, there's One Ton Hammer. He's great, and the whole crew over there, Inquisitor, the wide range of different people who all do different things. It's unintentionally diverse, and it's awesome.
Diverse?
Well, I said unintentionally. It's...
Now, I was told that after I left, when I was a guest on there, someone was squealing.
Oh, yeah. Zelthor let out a girlish squeal of excitement that, he actually got to hang out with you and talk to you.
Yeah, Monkey told me afterwards, he's like, oh my God, dude, they're fangirling about you. Like, what? Like, the concept didn't even occur to me, and I go back and I listen like, oh my God.
That is something for me. You guys are, the times I've come on, you've been so nice, but to me, I'm just a regular person, and to you guys, I'm Monkey, and so there's this little bit of, and I understand it because I fangirl like a motherfucker. Medicare just happened to mention me. I was like,
right.
I fangirled by proxy for you because I didn't even know that had happened, and I'm watching Medicare's Saturday stream, and it's like, oh, Ranting Monkey, what are you, fucking retarded? To Amos Yee, and I was like, yay, Monkey! It was, yeah.
Yeah, so I get it from... I get it, but to me, I'm just me. So when it happens to me, it's always like, but I'm just me.
Right. That's what I meant. I wasn't complaining. I was just like, that's never in my entire life, so far as I know, that is the first time that's ever happened. So I was just like, Oh,
That's the
okay.
first time anybody was ever happy to talk to Scribe.
No.
That's the nature of e-fame. I mean, Monkey, I'm curious. So you got what, 22,000 subscribers now?
Yeah.
What's that like? To know that there's 22,000 people. If you think about how many, like, at a football stadium, how many people that would represent, and they're all watching your videos. What does that feel like?
It's surreal. Because again, to me, I'm just me. I just say the things that I would say in my everyday life, except for I'm putting it out there for people to watch. And I've mentioned many times, I never thought I would get like more than 100 viewers. And to know that I could fill a small stadium if they, you know, if everybody that subscribed to me got together, it's like, why are you listening to me? There's a part of it that makes it very unnerving if I think about it when I go to make a video, because it's like I don't want to disappoint anyone. And then there's another part of me that's like, that's kind of cool. But for the most part, it's very humbling. Very humbling.
I would say that's the best reaction possible. It's humbling because, I mean, how many Onision characters take it as ego stroking?
Well, that's actually what I want to talk about. Probably at YouTube time for YouTube Drama.
Okay.
I want to talk about Jeff Holliday's video, and we'll get to that a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if you can do this, and if you don't have some humility about it, how long you can really last. Thank you. Nope. Most of us don't watch your videos, Monkey.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And hello, SDA in chat. I hope you're having a good time up there.
And I am humbled to be filling in for you as best I can, SDA. It's a tough role to follow. Temporarily.
Well, all you got to do is anytime Scribe reads a headline, go, what's going on there?
No, I plan to interrupt often just so he doesn't miss her too much.
Beautiful. Appreciate it. Your voice is a little bit deeper. Your hands are probably the same size. But with that, Scribbles, do we have news today?
Well, we do. And given the title of the stream, I thought we'd start out with net neutrality, unless you wanted to save that for deep topic time or something.
No, that's fine. I was planning on hitting it as news if we had it.
Okay. The Trump FCC chair unveils plan to repeal net neutrality. The days of net neutrality are numbered, says CNN. Ajit Pai, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, unveiled his controversial plan to repeal Obama-era protections intended to keep the internet open and fair. Quote, under my proposal, the federal government will stop micromanaging the internet, Pai said in a statement Tuesday. Instead, the FCC would simply require internet service providers to be transparent about their practices. The repeal would represent a fundamental shift to how the internet is regulated. The current net neutrality rules, approved in 2015, internet providers... Okay, CNN, can you grammar? How about you add the word with? With at the beginning of the sentence would make it work. So how about I do it for you? With the current net neutrality rules approved in 2015, internet providers like Comcast and AT&T are barred from deliberately speeding up or slowing down traffic from specific websites and apps. The goal was to prevent those internet providers from picking winners and losers among current content providers. The new proposal would do away with rules that prohibit internet providers from blocking or slowing down access to online content and services, according to senior FCC officials outlining the changes on a call with reporters. It would also eliminate a rule barring providers from prioritizing their own content or the content of third-party services it strikes deals with. In the absence of a firm ban on these actions, providers will be required to publicly disclose any instance of blocking, throttling, or paid prioritization, according to the FCC officials. It will then be evaluated based on whether or not the activity is anti-competitive. Publicly disclosed in the fine fucking print.
Yeah.
They will disclose for sure.
Yeah, real quick. Thank you, Flair. If Polly acts like a little bitch to you guys, we'll be sure to give him a good spanking at the zoo. So behave yourself, Polly.
Well, then Fritz is the one to do it. So yeah, I take that threat seriously.
How do you feel about net neutrality? Either of you?
Guest first.
I feel uneducated to the point where commenting on it, one just ends up revealing their own ignorance. I think that there's a lot going on there that isn't easily ascertained by poorly worded CNN stories or Philly DeFranco rifling through the details as quickly as he can. DeFranco, he did an entire show on it today. I'm sorry, Monkey. And just the big problem is, well, okay, there's some places where there isn't the kind of competition where market forces would stop something like that from happening, because some people only have one provider available. And it's like, how many? What is a percentage? That's information that I don't have. Why are you so concerned about doing that if those kind of things happening, if FTC and FCC rules are in place to stop somebody from doing something like that? There's so many details with it where taking a hardline position, I don't understand why somebody talks like they're on such firm footing. This is obviously so bad. When is it? I don't know.
I hate net neutrality because the internet should be a public utility, period. There shouldn't have to be rules regulating whether or not the companies can or should do this, that, or the other thing. It should be treated like any public utility. It is as ubiquitous as the phone lines now. Give me a break. It's no longer a private concern. It is a public utility. So that is what should happen. In absence of that, net neutrality should stay in place, because what this guy is saying he's doing is not what he is doing. He is giving the power of our communications over to private interests. It'd be like privatizing people's outstretched voices. The internet is everything now, whether this guy likes it or not. And trying to keep it locked down into private interests is going to, well, it's not going to last, because there are a lot of smart people out there who hate this shit, who will find a way to make their own thing outside of it and will avoid all of this. And then anyway.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, you already derailed my train of thought. Go ahead. SDA is not here, so go ahead. No, yeah, it's
fine. Anyway, I wouldn't have a problem with them getting rid of net neutrality if there was a much bigger market. We are one of those unfortunate folks who have literally one possible provider.
Really?
And yeah.
Okay.
And if they decided that if we have AT&T, so if AT&T decided that they were going to give preference to a video site other than YouTube, I would be fucked. So I'm not the biggest fan of the government stepping in private business, which it is right now. And I agree with Scribe. It should be a public utility. But since it's not, we need net neutrality for people like me. Seriously. Scribbles, did you have more to add there?
No. Whatever I had to say was gone now.
Because why, Monkey? Are you worried about prices spiking, or are you worried about being throttled?
No, I'm not worried about prices spiking. I'm more worried about the part of it that bothers me is the throttling to different websites, giving preference to, say, AT&T gets a huge, let's call it a donation from Microsoft, and suddenly Google is really slow on my computer, but I can use Bing to my heart's content. No, I don't. No, fuck Bing. I don't like the idea that they can do that when there's no competition and I have no other choice.
Yeah, the internet service providers would be able to manipulate the playing field and not give equal opportunity to Joe Schmo versus the big boys. I mean, that's kind of the problem with putting the market in the hands of private interests, is that it's not. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, you're allowing the free market to flow with the businesses. Yes, but the internet is a market, and you're handing it over to private interests to decide what shall and shall not succeed. And sure, we have to publicly disclose. Yes, they'll publicly disclose in some fine print somewhere. And if anybody argues about it or complains, where does that go? Who's going to sue them? I mean, we're pretty much outlawing class action suits at this stage of the game. So is just Joe Schmo internet company or website company that's trying to make a business out of themselves going to be able to sue the FCC or Comcast or anybody else? No. It's a recipe for disaster, and I assume that at some point, if this goes through, it's obviously probably going to go to court immediately, because some senators and other activists have already said that if this does get approved on December 14th, then it will immediately be challenged in court. I presume it will go up to the Supreme Court. I'm guessing. So it's not over yet per se, but we're getting closer to it being a done deal.
Can't one assume that no matter which way it goes, that it's going to go to court? Because either companies will sue over the basis of it, or I mean, that it's going to go to court. Yeah, I agree, but it would go to court either way.
Well, it did go to court. The current rules went to court and were ruled on. So yeah, this one will pretty much immediately. Yeah. Thank you, Skythus, Sup Monkey, Scribe, and the new guy I haven't listened to before. That's Polydub, and you should definitely check out the Minions of the Zoo. They have a lot of good voices over there, and he's a frequent contributor.
Yay.
I wanted to address something that Adrian said in chat. Said Google is the biggest bully on the internet. I agree that they have some competitive issues. I was just using them as an example, not necessarily giving them my endorsement. Yeah. So I hope this doesn't go through. Now, the one story that I read earlier today did say that a lot of large service providers said they're not going to throttle in any way, or that there would be no need for net neutrality because they're not going to do any of the bad shit. That's fine. Then there's no reason to argue against it now, is there?
Right. There's no reason to be celebrating this thing coming through. There's no reason to be putting money behind it or anything else, right, guys? No. That's bullshit. That's lip service, and it's we promise. Oh, you promise. Well, how about we put a law in place that just makes sure, because you promising might not be the same people making the promise a year from now if you get fired or go on to something else or go into a lobbyist job or something. How about a law? No laws. Oh, okay. So you promise. It's a trust me story.
Well,
sure.
Scribe, it's almost like you don't trust the word of a faceless corporation or something.
I know. My God, what's wrong with me?
Just look at what happened with cell phone companies. It used to be everybody had an unlimited data plan, and all it took was one to go, you know what, we're gonna put limits on everything, and then all of them did it, to the point where one of Sprint's selling points was we're the only ones left with unlimited data. So all it takes is one company to be the first one to go, you know what, we're going to abuse this rule, and then they all will. Omike Gaming says, my son was born yesterday. Any advice? Love him. Be there for him as much as you can be, and congratulations.
Be involved, and this sounds very ABC After School Special, but be involved in the media they consume as they get older. Don't just take a back seat and just let it go on, because that's where the breeding ground of crazy starts if you're not keeping an eye on it.
Start saving for college now.
No shit.
The other reason, or the other thing I will say is, kids do a lot of stuff that'll make you crazy. Realize that I'm assuming you're young. Things seem a lot more important when you're young. Enjoy your child's childhood. What else we got?
Well, let's see. We have. Well, yesterday, the big news was that Charlie Rose was suspended from his job, and he was on an indefinite leave of absence from CBS and PBS. But today, they just said, fuck it, and they both fired him.
Nice. The worst part of that story to me is I've got a mental image of naked-ass, wrinkly Charlie Rose walking bathroom.
Oh, God.
Because they kept talking about it. I was like, oh, God. Like,
let's see. CBS News and PBS fire Charlie Rose. CBS News and PBS both said Tuesday that Charlie Rose's contracts with them had been terminated. An internal memo at CBS, which announced its move first, said the decision, quote, followed the revelation yesterday of extremely disturbing and intolerable behavior, unquote. On Monday, the Washington Post published a 5,000-word story about alleged harassment by Rose based on interviews with 8 women who described, quote, unwanted sexual advances, unquote. Rose said in a statement that he deeply apologized for what he admitted was inappropriate behavior. After the initial Post story came out, other women came forward with additional allegations of sexual misconduct. By Tuesday morning, CBS executives determined that it was impossible for him to return to CBS This Morning, the daily broadcast he has co-hosted for the past 5 years. CBS did not immediately name a replacement for Rose on the program. well, if they did replace him with a man, obviously they are setting up for disaster because men are poison.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that later too.
Later in the day, CBS reported that some of the new complaints against Rose were lodged by colleagues within its news organization. Quote, at least 3 women who asked not to be identified said they experienced unwanted sexual contact from Rose while working at CBS News. And they never said anything until now, because that's how you make things change. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and they got mad at me when I said, it's one thing to be the victim of something. It's another thing to decide not to do anything about it. And so you're blaming the victim. No. The victim's not to blame for what was done to them. The victim is responsible for what they choose to or not to do afterwards. It's their decision. The guy who did it to them is not forcing them to not take action, except in extreme circumstances or something. So anyway, that's not a very popular opinion, it seems, is to just like, oh, well, this person's traumatized. And I'm like, okay, so the rule is if you are traumatized by a crime, you're given a pass on reporting it to the authorities. Is that the rule? Well, no, it's because it's sexual. It's like, well, anyway, I could go on, but it's just a long.
Yeah, but I'm going to, because what about your civic responsibility?
Yeah, well, that's I guess that's a better way of putting it than I just should have.
Well, yeah, no, that's the point for me, because I get that. You're going to put them through it all again, and the way you make that stop is by bringing it to the public light, by going to the police, going to any authority, if it's your HR company or it is the police, doing something about it rather than just letting it go on. Now, the one thing I do want to address is the way that story said it was unwanted sexual advances, and I have a problem with that.
Unwanted sexual contact in the one case, and then inappropriate. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. In one instance, it was described as unwanted sexual advances. The other one was unwanted sexual contact, whatever that means.
Unwanted sexual contact, I'll give you. Somebody grabbing your titty or you're slapping your ass, don't do that. But if it's just somebody going, hey, you want to have sex? I don't think it may be inappropriate, but that's not a crime.
But it is a fireable offense in workplaces.
Yeah, I'll give you fireable offense. Unless it was like outside of the workplace. If this happened, because one of there's actually several of the stories we've read recently. I mean, this is stuff that's happened after work at like a bar. We had the one yesterday, and granted, this was a guy who was rapey, but all of this situation happened at parties where he was really drunk.
Oh, the hacker guy, right.
Yeah. If you're at a party and you're drunk and you ask some chick if she wants to blow you, I don't think that should be a fireable offense. I don't think that's sexual harassment. As long as he leaves it takes your no as a no and leaves it there, that's a lot different than doing it in the workplace. And from the examples we've gotten, there's a lot of them where it's like, I just don't see that as a problem. And again, I go back to Louis C.K. on this. You went to his hotel room. He asked you if he could jack off, and you said yes. That's where's the issue?
That's consent.
I thought consent was sexy. What happened to that? Is it just when an old man is beating off in front of you that consent's not sexy
thought
anymore?
Consent was sexy? Those California lists of can I kiss you? Can I touch you? Can I unbutton your blouse, etc.? That's sexy.
Can I unbutton this button? And this button?
And this button.
And this button?
May I stroke?
Anyhow, yeah. So.
Can I touch this hair on your chest? How about this hair? Is that okay?
Why are you touching people with hairy chests, Scribe?
Well, doesn't it go for women too?
Fuck no.
Well, shit. What was I thinking?
This is the current year. What are you?
What am I thinking? I apologize.
Oh, first cynic asked a good question. What if it were a company-sponsored party? Well, that depends. I've worked at companies where they specifically tell you all rules and regulations are still in place at the party, and generally at those ones you don't have alcohol because you're not allowed to drink at work either. So, yeah, if company rules are in place, absolutely, it still counts.
Well, let's see. Since it still is the current year, we have another celebrity who has been rocked, let's say, with allegations. Yay. This time, it's Disney's John Lasseter. Takes leave of absence, apologizes for unwanted gestures. So he's already confessed. And if you don't know who John Lasseter is, he's super duper muckety muck in Disney Pixar.
Oh, okay.
You'll see his name on the credits for things like the Incredibles and Toy Story and everything else. John Lasseter, one of the biggest names in animation, is taking a leave of absence from Disney following what he called missteps. In an internal memo sent to Disney employees obtained by CNN, Lasseter, who is the chief creative officer of Pixar and Disney Animation, said that he recently had, quote, a number of difficult conversations that have been very painful for me, unquote. And he continues, it's never easy to face your missteps, but it's the only way to learn from them. As a result, I've been giving a lot of thought to the leader I am today compared to the mentor, advocate, and champion I want to be. It's been brought to my attention that I have made some of you feel disrespected or uncomfortable. That was never my intent, he wrote. Lasseter added that he wanted to apologize to, quote, anyone who has ever been on the receiving end of an unwanted hug or any other gesture they felt crossed the line in any way, shape, or form. So you've just confessed to anything someone might say. Congratulations.
Good job.
Quote, no matter how benign my intent, everyone has the right to set their own boundaries and have them respected, he added. According to Lasseter, he and Disney have agreed to, quote, take some time away to reflect on how to move forward from here. Dude, you're fired. It might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but pretty quick. You just confessed. You're fired. And you're going Charlie Rose here pretty quick.
All of these companies start out by putting them on leave.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but like in this case where he's come out and immediately, yeah, I did all that. If it's against your rules, just fire him now.
Yeah, I mean, it happened with Kevin Spacey. It was like, okay, well, we're going to halt production on House of Cards and reassess. Oh, now Kevin Spacey's not allowed to come back to the show. Yeah, Charlie Rose is on leave. Oh, now he's fired. Yeah, no, this guy, yeah, he's out the door, more likely than not. He's not as a big a name as, say, Charlie Rose, not as a high profile person on TV and in the media and such, but within the corporate world of Disney and such, he's top of the pop. So yeah.
I'm curious about the gestures though, because he mentions hugging.
Yeah.
Is he like high-fiving a booby or something? What gestures is he making?
Let's see. Lasseter's statement comes on the same day that The Hollywood Reporter, who first reported Lasseter's memo, published a story with the headline, John Lasseter's Pattern of Alleged Misconduct Detailed by Disney Pixar Insiders. The report quotes an unnamed Pixar employee as saying Lasseter had a reputation among employees for, quote, grabbing, kissing, making comments about physical attributes. Lasseter is one of the founders of the highly successful Pixar animation studio that has been behind such films including Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and Inside Out. Since its inception, Pixar has gone on to make more than $11 billion at the worldwide box office and win multiple Academy Awards. So, yeah. Oh, and Disney bought Pixar in 2006 in a roughly $7 billion deal that made Lasseter the chief creative officer for the company's two animation studios. And he is the executive producer on Coco, Pixar's latest film scheduled to hit theaters on Wednesday. So there you go with that one.
All right. So he's now kissing. That might be a little much, especially if it's like a little tongue in there.
I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter at this point. He's given a pass to anybody who brings an allegation up against him since he's already confessed. So
yep.
Here's a tip, guys. If you don't have all of the facts, don't confess to what you don't know is coming. I don't know what to tell you.
That's a fucking wisdom right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You take each one on individually. I have some personal experience with this. I won't go into the deep, dark details of it per se, but I had once alleged at me that I had 13 complaints against my conduct. And I said, okay, what are they? And the person had a syntax error because I was asking for details instead of just either fighting or confessing or something else. I said, well, what are the complaints? And they couldn't do it because they were making shit up. So don't confess to what you don't know is being alleged. Just saying.
Thank you, Sanguine. All the normal gestures like fucking donuts with hot dogs. Yes.
Yay!
Yes. And Jack Gunsky in chat says he had a habit of loving, touching, squeezing.
Oh.
I love me some Journey. Anyhow,
let's see. So, lastly, before we get to MSS news or anything else that might come up, we have another data breach.
oh, beautiful.
Can you imagine how old it is?
I'm going with 2 years.
1 year.
Oh,
but
better
it's
than
from
normal.
Uber. Uber was hacked in 2016, and data on 57 million people was exposed.
Damn.
Hackers accessed millions of Uber users' personal information last year, and the company did not report it until today. In late 2016, 2 people outside the company accessed the personal information of 57 million Uber users, including names, email addresses, and phone numbers, the company said. Hackers also accessed driver's license numbers of around 600,000 drivers in the United States. The 600,000 was included in the total number of affected users. The company did not alert victims or regulators of the breach when they discovered it happened. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi, if I'm saying that right, said in a statement he recently learned of the breach. Define recently.
Yeah, no shit.
Khorasani, who became CEO in August, said he launched an investigation into why the company did not alert authorities or individuals affected by the hack. Okay, so maybe he comes into the slot and somebody tells him, oh, by the way, somebody left this shit pile for you.
But did he launch this investigation before or after telling regulators?
I don't know.
That's my question.
He said, quote, 2 of the individuals who led the response to this incident are no longer with the company. Khorasani said the company is now notifying regulatory authorities. So
after or before?
Yeah, after. Before. He started, before alerting regulators, they started their own internal investigation. Presumably, now this is a little ambiguous here, but presumably he became CEO in August. Somebody told him this thing happened, and shortly thereafter he launched the investigation. So if we take him, extending the benefit of the doubt, this guy didn't know about this until just a couple months ago, but you sure as shit know somebody knew something a long time before that.
Mm-hmm. Apparently we have forgotten something.
Oh, Monkey Dick Jim Jones movies. Hit the like button, and if you like our stuff, please share it.
Even if you don't like it, share it. If you think it's mediocre, share it. For God's sake, share it.
See, that's what I always assume. When somebody says you forgot something, I always assume that's my go-to thing, is that we obviously forgot to do the intro stuff. So.
I just realized I'm very happy I use Lyft.
Yeah, you are until 3 years from now when they tell us they were breached last year.
Yeah, I don't think information assurance is one of their strong suits. Any one of these, like, do something fancy from your phone and give us your credit card number. Yeah, I don't really think they care about security very much.
Stargazer Nuts wants to know if you're going to be on the Minions tonight, Polly.
I had not been asked about it. I was on last night as emergency Polly because there were some missed lines of communication, and Inquisitor hit me up and he's like, hey, do you want to come on? I'm like, you got time for the other people to show up. He's like, actually, the show should have started 16 minutes ago. So I was on.
So
we talk comics.
Do you sit inside of a glass box that says, in case of emergency for Polly, break?
It's really more of an emergency dial to my phone, and it's like, you know, it's sort of like the bat phone. It just, you know, you flip it open and you're needed. Okay. And I, you know, jump into business.
Uzi Q is saying David Cassidy died. He was on his, apparently.
Oh yeah. He was we talked about it the other night. He was suffering organ failure.
Yeah.
The guy from Happy Days?
No. Partridge Family.
Yeah, David Cassidy, 70s teen heartthrob, dies at age 67.
That's way too young. What the hell?
Yeah, well, relatively speaking. That too, and God knows what else. David Cassidy, who came to fame as a 70s teen heartthrob and lead singer on the Partridge Family, has died. According to his publicist, he was 67. The singer-actor had recently been admitted to the intensive care unit of a Fort Lauderdale, Florida area hospital. Cassidy was in critical condition and suffering from organ failure before his death Tuesday. So, the death of a Florida man.
Yes.
Take care of your ticker. Wow.
Yeah.
The last story we read said his family was around him, and that is never a good thing at the hospital.
Yeah, that's a sign that things are getting down to the nitty-gritty.
There's only 2 times the whole family shows up. It's births and deaths. So
Yeah. Or weddings.
well, I meant at a hospital.
Oh, well, okay. I'm trying to think of a funny joke.
They don't call everybody to the hospital for an appendectomy, you know.
It could happen. Anyway, we got anything else, or should I move on to MSS News?
Let's go ahead and move on to MSS News.
Okay, chat, if you have news stories you'd like to take a look at during the course of the stream, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. I can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll definitely take a look. And please, 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 don't tag us personally in these news stories. Just use the hashtag, because otherwise, if you tag us and don't use the hashtag, they'll get lost. And if you tag us and you use the hashtag, you just spam our feed with stuff.
Real quick, that was incredibly rude of me. Polly, did you have any stories before we moved on?
Oh, yeah.
Well, incidentally, yes. Only because I've been surfing around at the root here while we've been talking. And it's a gold mine, as you know. I mean, sometimes I just go to the root just to read the headlines, not even to read the story. Like, for example, President Pussy Grabber damn near stumps for accused sex offender Roy Moore, because of course he would. That's President Pussy Grabber. Really? You guys have just gone. A Caucasian's Guide to Black Thanksgiving, Part 1, the guest list. This story is priceless. Not a story. It's really like, here's what white people don't understand about Black Thanksgiving, basically. Uncles don't mean someone related to you. Cousins don't mean someone related to you.
Hang on. Let's hold on to that article. That's a deep topic kind of article.
It's really not that deep, but okay.
Hold on to that one. Let's hit our MSS tag, and then sure. we can definitely have some fun with the root tonight.
Okay, so let's see. We did Charles Manson. Okay. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier, though this story apparently comes out of Oklahoma. And it's Washington Post. Will you let me read it at Washington Post? No, of course not. I have to go to a private window because the Washington Post wants me to pay for their crappy news. So, let's see. Former Oklahoma state senator admits to child sex trafficking while in office.
No.
Jesus fuck.
Holy shit.
Former Oklahoma state senator Ralph Shorty has reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors months after investigators uncovered a secret life that they say involved child pornography and a rendezvous with a 17-year-old boy he had met through a Craigslist ad. Shorty, a Republican who resigned last spring amid allegations that he had solicited sex from the teen, will plead guilty to a child sex trafficking charge. Prosecutors will drop 3 child pornography charges as part of the deal. Quote, after looking at all of the evidence and case law and statutes and everything else, we just felt that this would give him the best opportunity to come out with the best outcome possible, his defense attorney told the Washington Post. It would have been an extraordinarily difficult case to win at trial. Yeah, no shit. Had Shorty gone to trial and lost, he would have been looking at a 30-year prison sentence at the very least. The sex trafficking charge is punishable by at least 10 years in prison. Federal law requires defendants to serve at least 75% of their sentence. In Shorty's case, that would be 8.5 years, but a judge will ultimately decide on what his sentence should be. Well, good. Throw him in a box. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So long. Bye. Let's see. What's this? Looking through stuff. Anything jumping out? Okay, we got a couple people sending us this about the Laurier University and Jordan B. Peterson. Let's see. So who sent this? We've got Peter Stewart sent this to us. Jack Cochran sent this to us, and I'm sure several others did too. Teacher's assistant accuses university of censoring gendered pronoun discussion. A grad student and teaching assistant at Wilfrid Laurier University, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, says the administration is trying to stifle critical thinking after she was reprimanded for showing students a video discussion on gendered pronouns involving controversial professor Jordan Peterson. Lindsay Shepard says she was disciplined by the university earlier this month for showing students a clip of Peterson debating gendered pronouns with a scholar in sexual diversity studies. She had argued in a disciplinary discussion, which she secretly recorded, that all perspectives are valid in a university setting. One of the two professors in the recording responds by telling her, quote, "That's not necessarily true." Quote, "I was not taking sides. I was presenting both arguments," she told the professors. Shepard says she's now worried she'll lose her TA post over the situation. Quote, "They were telling me that you can't debate something like this because it causes an unsafe or toxic learning environment," Shepard told CTV's Your Morning on Monday. "I end up being called transphobic and someone who causes harm and violence." Shepard accused the university of subtly censoring her, quote, "because it's not like they're banning me from the classroom, but they have now recognized me as someone who maybe thinks a little too independently for their tastes, so they have to discipline me into thinking the way they want me to think and the way they want me to transmit their message to the students." Shepard says she's speaking out about the university's actions because she feels it's contrary to the core principles of higher education, particularly when it comes to encouraging a free marketplace of ideas. Exactly. Quote, "I think it's dangerous to say that a topic is off the table just because it might be a little bit controversial." Associate Professor David Haskell, who teaches in Laurier's Humanities Department, said he feels, quote, "shock and shame over the university's treatment of Shepard." Quote, "I wish that my university was more willing to stick up for Lindsay Shepard, who has taken a bold stand for freedom of expression." Haskell suggested it would be doing students a disservice to shelter them from controversial opinions because it doesn't prepare them for engaging with opposing views in real life. He said facing ideas that challenge your worldview make you, quote, "mentally tough, whereas sheltering yourself from those opinions leaves you mentally fragile." That's the gist.
Yeah. It's moronic that a university would even take that position. Why? I mean, it's not like he was or she was encouraging, hate speech.
Yeah, well, from their perspective, she was.
Well, even from their perspective, I don't see how it would be, because all they're saying is that you can't. Or all she was doing is presenting two sides.
Well, this is the problem, is that it's become so. Before it was like bad ideas aren't allowed. Now just the presentation of both sides isn't allowed. It's even an even more restrictive echo chamber now. We can't even entertain a counterpoint, even if we present the quote unquote desirable ideas at the same time. It's a complete and utter shutout of anything that might question the narrative, which is even scarier. And not surprisingly coming on in Canada, but colleges in general. I mean, this is the next evolution of this whole thing, is to not even allow the possibility of there being an opposing viewpoint.
Real quick, thank you, Point Curation. Original 10-minute clip, and there's a link there. So,
okay.
Is that to this story? That was to him, not to you. Yeah, I hate the idea that you're not allowed to have free discussion. That's fucking moronic.
It's a university,
especially at college.
Yeah,
I certainly agree with you, but it's actually further than that. I watched the video clip of the full 43-minute recording that she made, and Jordan B. Peterson's response to it. It hit hard. It hit me really, really hard, because it sounded very familiar. I've worked as a TA, currently work as a TA. I know exactly how the kind of pressure they put on you to do certain things. Thankfully, I'm not in a communication and culture department as Shepard is. But listening to, and if you're interested, I really encourage you to listen to the recording. It's shocking, the kind of tribunal that they put her through. She's crying through a good third of it because of the pressure. She has no advocate on her side. It's her and three people that are the diversity and exploitation or diversification, the Oberstubenführer that's there to make sure that you are falling within line. They're accusing her repeatedly. They don't just insinuate she's a transphobe. They repeatedly tell her, no, you are advancing transphobia here, which is, they say in the same breath, against the policies of this department, the policies of Wilfrid Laurier, and against the Ontario human rights laws, as if all those things fall in the same category. But for them, they do. And they're there to enforce them. It's shocking
Ontario?
And scary. Yeah. This isn't, yeah.
It's actually an even more interesting. I didn't pay attention to the location. That makes this even more interesting, because as we looked at Bill C-16, the
Mhm.
gender pronoun law up there in Canada, and Jordan Peterson's objections to it, everybody kept telling him he was, overreacting. You're just overreacting. This isn't going to be a big deal. It's not. It's only going to one thing they said was it would only affect government employees, and that you wouldn't have to worry about it because it would only be an issue if you were purposefully misgendering somebody. And this is just them talking about having the ability to discuss. It's like they said, you know what? Let's show Jordan Peterson was actually right.
They accused Jordan Peterson in that tribunal, and that's what it was, just not in name, of, I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson, but showing a video of him would be the same as showing a video of Milo Yiannopoulos, who they name by name. And they say, and not offering any kind of critical analysis of it. And she stops and said, I did offer critical analysis. It was presented in a critical format. Said, not in a way that was consistent with our policies, because you normalized it. It would be the same. And I don't want to sound like going right to the Hitler thing, but it would be like playing a speech from Hitler. It would normalize it as if this is okay. He goes into examples of white power literature all over campuses and how we are here to stop that. And so it's not just you're not you're presenting it and that's wrong. It's that you're not advancing our understanding of LGBTQIA LMNOP rights.
Oh, we have an update actually to this story that just came out a couple hours ago, apparently.
Real quick, thank you, Peter, for the donation. Nothing was said, but if you want me to say something out loud, let me know.
Peter's awesome. That's what we'll say.
Peter is awesome. What's your question, Peter? Anyway, go ahead.
The president of Wilfrid Laurier University has apologized for the treatment of a graduate student who was censured by professors for showing both sides of the debate about gender-neutral pronouns. Criticism of the university has been intense and relentless across Canada after teaching assistant Lindsay Shepherd recorded the meeting with herself and two professors and a WLU diversity and equity official. During that meeting earlier this month, Shepherd was reduced to tears as she was accused of being transphobic and creating a toxic environment in her classroom. One of the professors, Nathan Rambakana, likened her presentation of both arguments as, quote, neutrally playing a speech by Hitler. On Tuesday, a week after the news became public, President Deborah McClatchy formally apologized. Quote, the conversation I heard does not reflect the values and practices to which Laurier aspires, she said in a statement. I am sorry it occurred in the way that it did. And I regret the impact it had on Lindsay. Okay, whenever I hear somebody say, I regret if I hurt anybody's feelings or if someone was like, it's kind of like saying, taking a brick, throwing it through the window, and apologizing that the glass broke. It's like, no, fuck you. Apologize for throwing the brick. Acknowledge what you did. Acknowledge the policies that allowed this to happen. Acknowledge your subordinates who are in positions of authority that apparently have the power to do this to someone.
It's my best guess that would have never happened if she hadn't recorded it. That's take on it. That's what happened.
Well, this is what she said. She says, Shepherd is not impressed. Quote, it's not like they're heroes, she said. It was really their only option after the barrage of criticism. Yep. So, yeah, there you go.
And there it is. And again, if you're interested, I highly recommend going and listening to the clip. Shepherd, she's the bomb. The way she defends herself there, even in the middle of tears, is incredible with three people grilling her. And, you are in violation of the human rights laws of this province. And she doesn't back down. She doesn't yell. She says, I do not understand. You're going to have to justify your position. It's amazing.
Good for her. I know we're getting to the end of things, but I unfortunately have to read this story. I don't know how well known this was. This happened yesterday. The 9-year-old boy with cancer dies after his last wish was Christmas cards.
Oh, that's so sad.
A 9-year-old boy with cancer died after his wish for an early Christmas celebration was fulfilled. Jacob Thompson's family announced that the young boy died at the Maine Medical Center in Portland on Sunday. Last month, Jacob said his last wish was to receive Christmas cards to celebrate his last holiday, and his story quickly went viral. His family said Jacob was inundated with the hundreds of cards and prayers he received, which will now reportedly be shared with fellow children at the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital at Maine Medical Center. Let's see. The update to the GoFundMe page said Monday, quote, "It is with heavy hearts that we share the news of Jacob's passing with you. At just 9 years old, Jacob passed away after a 4-year battle with neuroblastoma. We hope that Jacob's story and the enormous outpouring of support from around the world will have a lasting impact on raising awareness of this disease. We hope that donations will be made and a cure will be discovered as a result. Each and every person who sent Jacob a Christmas card, a gift, a Facebook message or video, or a prayer made a difference in the final days of his life. You brought Jacob joy, and you brought us all optimism for the future. Thank you for taking the time and taking an interest in our sweet boy's journey. Sadly, there are many others like him that we hope you will continue to help." Well, at least he went out
He
happy.
got his wish, man.
He got his wish. Yep.
Yeah.
You want me to do any more, Monkey, or shall we move on to YouTube time?
Let's go ahead on to YouTube time, guys. We get so many stories, and especially when we're having a good conversation like we have tonight, sometimes we can't get to them all. We'll make it up. So, Polly, what'd you do today?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. I hung out. I just surfed around. I've really been interested and gotten caught up in the Comicsgate thing. Watched a bunch of Diversity in Comics episodes. It's amazing how this relatively small YouTuber who records his videos on a fucking Android phone and posts them from the Android phone is causing this much trouble for the comics behemoth, which is Marvel, to the point where they're talking in private Facebook groups about, oh yeah, he's coming to this comic book convention and we're going to do this, and the whole story. And he hasn't slowed down because
what exactly is going on? I'm not familiar with this.
I thought this was an old story. My fault. There's a YouTuber goes by Zach, which is not his real name. Doesn't matter because he's since been doxxed. His channel's called Diversity and Comics. It's worth checking out. He laments the SJW stream that Marvel is absolutely pursuing. And as a big comics fan, and he's buying them, he's not torrenting digital files. He's actually going out and getting them. And the comic is always in his lap, and he just goes through it and criticizes it and mocks it and cracks jokes on it. And like, what the hell's wrong with these people? This is terrible. You're ruining the comics I've loved since I was a kid. And very Gamergate-ish. They paint him as, it's a misogynist. You are a misogynist. You can't stand women in the industry, et cetera, because once that label's on, it's sticky. It doesn't come off easily.
Okay, yeah, I do know who you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
And a bunch of them had gotten together in a private Facebook group, creators within the industry from DC, Marvel, et cetera. And they found out he was coming to the NYCC, big comic book convention in New York, and they had already alerted security and the con staff to his presence and what he looks like and what his name is. They spread his name around and doxed him. He works at such and such a place. I know that information, but why repeat it? It's already everywhere, right? And one of them is, I don't think he's going to cause any violence necessarily, but I would like to follow him around and see if I can goad him into taking a shot at me. And then the other guy's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that because then I'd be able to deck them. And women are, well, this is why I don't go to cons, is because of people like this. I'm afraid of them. It's like, you're actually afraid that someone's going to attack you because of the shitty stories you write. That's not going to happen. But it's an interesting thing to see as somebody who watches YouTube. As somebody who gets like 120 up to 200,000 views, that's more views than Marvel sells of their best titles in a month. It's interesting that some guy with a phone is actually possibly a threat to somebody like Marvel. I find that hilarious and awesome all at the same time.
It just shows such a thin skin for anyhow. Yeah. I have no tolerance for people like that. Not because, even them being shitty, that's bad enough, but over somebody just criticizing your work.
And it's just satire and criticism. He's gotten to the thing because he's been hit with multiple copyright strikes, that as he's flipping through the comic, he goes, okay, hold on, I'm going to flip 3 pages forward so I don't get struck again.
Sibbles, what do you do today?
Let's see. I've got I recorded audio for that video about the kids being shown the advertisements that were too sexualized.
Oh yeah.
So basically, I have all the pieces ready to make 2 completely different whole videos. So I just have to find the time to do that. And given that I'll have Thursday off for Thanksgiving and I don't have any big plans as of right now, that's probably when I'll do that. I'm also thinking that maybe if I wake up early enough on Thanksgiving Day, and God knows the way that my body works at this stage of the game, I probably will. That is when I'll do my little Punisher Netflix series rant.
Okay.
Because I'll have the
I'm looking
time to do
forward
it.
to that.
Yeah, I got to jot down some notes on how I want to make sure I have a little bit of a structure to it as I proceed, because I could just go all over the place. But I've been thinking about that more and more over the last couple of days and just getting more and more pissed off. So I'll do that then. I've also got a bunch of ads to read, but I'll wait until you're done with your stuff before I get to those.
Yeah, I didn't do anything today. I spent my day in bed in a great deal of pain. So yeah, if you want to move on to ads, I'm good with that.
We need to get you an investment in morphine.
You know, I've avoided opioids at all costs, and
But they're all the
I'm actually,
rage.
yeah. But it's just not worth it. So,
well, maybe some of these ads will make you laugh, and of course, laughter is the best medicine.
true story, actually.
Okay, so first off, we have Sanguine requested a research ad, a historical biopic drama about Commander Denman of the HMS Wanderer. And what did he have to do with anything? Well, it's actually very interesting, as I found out. So here we go. 1834. Lieutenant Joseph Denman testifies before Parliament of his capture of the slave ship Maria de Gloria and the 400 souls saved from servitude. I witnessed, he said, the most dreadful sufferings that human beings can endure. Thus began one man's war against injustice. See the sweeping historical drama as Sanguine Studios takes you aboard the HMS Wanderer and its commander's epic quest to break the slave trade on the high seas. Filmed on location across the Atlantic, from Cuba to Spain, Brazil, and West Africa, Denman's mission of freedom would change the world forever. Tradebreaker, the voyages of Commander Denman. And yeah, this guy took down a whole ton of slave ships, captured them, commandeered them, freed the slaves. His father was a crazy abolitionist, not in a bad way crazy. It's actually a really interesting story for what little I was able to find. So cool. that would make an interesting movie.
I would win an Oscar.
Probably. It kind of reminds me of Master and Commander, the far end of the world or whatever, with Russell Crowe a little bit, but not quite. Let's see. Then Snubbirth allowed Weibo to pick the ad topic.
Oh, yes.
And so this was her. I tell you what, I won't tell you what her secret ad topic was. I'll just read the ad, and you can guess. And Weibo will have to verify whether or not I did the request justice. Snubber 13 Films and director Weibo Jones give birth to the ultimate hellspawn of horror. After a fire breaks out at the Keystone Pipeline, the caustic destruction and toxic smoke arouse the angry spirits of the Waterbringers, and one innocent woman is caught in the conflagration. Her lungs and her womb are filled with the terrifying tendrils of oily oxidations, and evil takes root, ready to burst forth. Next Halloween, you'll find out that there is no planning for this kind of parenthood. Tumor baby buggy bumpers. This baby is anything but benign. Okay.
Are we going to tell the story behind that?
Sure. Okay. So the request was, I did leave out that the baby was supposed to be me, but it just didn't come out that way the way I wrote it. But anyway, the tumor baby Scribe, who's conceived by the most convoluted, inobvious carcinogens. And I thought the Keystone Pipeline and ancient Indian spirits might be the most convoluted carcinogen I could come up with. So.
That was a weird request, and you took it to weird places. All right. I'll give you,
That's what I do.
It's one of those things. A joke happened before stream, and
yeah.
So that's where it all comes from. Tumor baby Scribe.
Yeah, the joke was about somehow we got around to how we were born, and I talked about how I was born of no woman, for I was cut out of her belly. And it's like, well, you still came out of her. And then Weibo said something like, yes, you removed like a tumor. That's where that came from.
Somebody's trying to trigger you, Scribe. TOS says the Punisher was great. Admit it. I'm not getting in the middle. I haven't seen it yet.
I do not confess to things I have not been alleged specifically. And I'll tell you what, the Punisher was not great. And I'll tell you why on Thursday.
There you go.
Okay, the next one comes from Ms. Slim 1. This turned into kind of a little bit of a mini novel, the way I had to describe it because of the things that were requested. Ad, where all of the lords, Weibo included, host a theme park like Disneyland that is themed by Mr. Toad's Crazy Ride, Wild Ride actually, and Dante's Inferno for SJWs. So this was my interpretation of that. Social justice warriors, get ready to find out what happens when you wish upon a czar. This summer, prepare to make your escape to the tragic kingdom, the crappiest place on earth, Triggerville. Join your hosts, the Lords of the Night, as they take you on your own personal journey through adventure, excitement, and the deep-seated trauma of first world problems. There's Crippletown, USA, where Mayor Monkey dispels all your notions of what being ableist are. Then wind your way over to Literacy Land as Burgermeister Scribelight confronts you with the horrors of peer review. Then, for you vegans, take the train to Meatloaf Junction, where Sheriff SDA lays down the law on dead animal flesh. Finally, and we mean finally, take part on a death march to Weibo Jonestown, where the realities of groupthink and collectivism always end with a refreshing cup of Kool-Aid. So book your tickets to Triggerville today, because a dream is a wish your echo chamber makes.
Can I just say, I like that the Polish chick is where the final destination is.
Yeah.
No, the final solution.
I just like it, Mayor Monkey of Crippletown, USA.
I enjoyed that.
Now, remember that little theme park because, as I am wont to do, it'll come back later in these ads. Let's see. Doubting Tommy requested a true crime documentary on the life of Christy Winters, leading her cult followers to take out a bunch of skeptics. So here we go. From documentary filmmaker Doubting Tommy comes the gritty true story of madness and murder. Felt her, smelled her, the Winters family rampage.
Oh, gross.
Get a look inside the mind of madness as charismatic cult leader Winters leads her family of social justice warriors on a rampage through the town of Kilroy, seeking to purge the world of any and all skepticism. Starring Melissa McCarthy as Christy Winters, it's a bloody crusade that shocked the world, and it's all true. Felt her, smelled her, the Winters family rampage. Get ready, because Winters is coming.
Nice.
Melissa McCarthy. God, you should do Hollywood casting. That'd be perfect.
I know, right? Let's see. Jordan 250 wanted the Trap Discovery Channel featuring Weibo Jones. Okay. New on the Trap Discovery Channel, we profile the mysterious, the enigmatic Weibo Jones. Sure, she's hot, but is she packing heat in her trouser holster? Our team of trap experts, led by the cock hunter himself, Jordan 250, seek to discover the answers using cutting-edge science and old-fashioned detective work. Weibo Jones, trap or no trap? Part of Trap Week on the Trap Discovery Channel. Check your local listings.
Oh, dear God.
Is Weibo here? If she's not...
She was. Man. I don't know if she still is.
Okay. Then Sanguine requested something that I actually had a lot of fun doing. And it's kind of serious, I suppose, or could be taken seriously. A comic book series where the heroes have broken powers, like super strength but no super durability, so the character is crippled with every use, that kind of thing. I ended up writing it like a movie trailer, so it's not really a comic book series, but on my mind, that's just where my mind went with it. From M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, director sorry, excuse me, try that again when my brain has a syntax error. From M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, director of unconventional superhero movies like Unbreakable and Glass, comes Shattered, Broken Heroes. Witness the triumph and tragedy as a team of unlikely allies have to overcome the curses of their own powers together. Meet Retina, the man who can become completely invisible, but who then cannot see as his eyes have become transparent and cannot process light. Stance, the woman who can increase her molecular density to become invulnerable and immovable, but cannot then move herself. And WizKid, the boy who can think like a computer, literally losing all of his humanity when thinking through a problem. Warriors with worries, paragons with problems. They are Shattered, Broken Heroes, a Sanguine Studios production.
Nice.
That actually would be cool.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like superpowers that would suck.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, hey, you can solve any problem. You just can't consider humanity in the process of doing it. Ooh. Okay, and then Sweeper asked for a haunted house haunted by the Lords of the Night. The lavish and expensive Grand Monkey Hotel has a terrible secret just waiting to give fun frights to the whole family. Join the Lords of the Night as they introduce the latest attraction to Triggerville, the crappiest place on Earth. In the dark and creepy hotel, guests will be exposed to the horrors of hard work, personal responsibility, and making your way through the world on merit. Each floor of the Grand Monkey Hotel takes you further and further away from the safety of your parents' money and plunges you into living paycheck to paycheck. It's a nightmare. The haunted Grand Monkey Hotel, exclusively at Triggerville. I hate it when I stumble over my own goddamn words. I write these things out as scripts so I won't. I apologize, Sweeper. If you want me to redo that again some other night, let me know. Two more, both from Cryptic. Cryptic wanted Braveheart 2, The Goats Fight Back. They will not take it from behind anymore. I think he meant sheep, but I'm going to write it as it is written, so to speak. William Wallace is back. Resurrected from death and mutilation by Scottish wizardry and bagpipe music, the legendary warrior steps forth to fight a new battle. The evil pet goat of the British king, Lambert the Horny, has raised an army of disaffected goats, tired of being sodomized by Scotsmen who confuse them for sheep. Now, William Wallace must convince Morris, the king of the cows, to send his forces in defense of the Scots, or all will be lost. Starring tailed feature as William Wallace, Irate Bear as Morris, the Cow King, and Gutenberg as Lambert the Horny. Cryptic Studios presents Fucking Moo, Braveheart 2.
Oh, that is beautiful. Fucking Moo.
Lambert the Horny, legend.
Fucking Moo, Braveheart 2. And lastly, Cryptic wanted Castaway movie remake starring Monkey and Drunken Uncle as the pineapple he talks to. When his Walmart store crash lands into the vast, watery wasteland of Lake Michigan, one monkey will have to learn to survive, no matter the cost. Washing up on the rusty remnants of a garbage scow, day by day he'll work to find food, shelter, and cigarettes. But the thing most at stake will be his sanity, and so he'll create an unlikely friend, painting a lazy-eyed face on a rotting pineapple fished out of the dark waters. Will the monkey make it back to civilization? Will the fermented pineapple ever sober up? Starring Ranting Monkey as the monkey and Drunken Uncle as Piney the pineapple. Castaway, Monkey Marooned, a Cryptic Studios production.
That was good. That was well done.
And that's everything. Thank you guys so much for your donations. I hope you liked the ads. If anybody wants me to try again to read when I fucked up, just let me know and I'll do that on tomorrow night's show or otherwise. But anyway, I'm done.
Okay, we're on to YouTube drama time, and I watched I watched Jeff Holliday's latest video. If you guys haven't, it's the definitive video on Amos Yee. For those of you unfamiliar with Amos, he's the asshole running around talking about how we should get rid of the age of consent completely so that you can legally fuck babies. And I am not kidding. That is not an exaggeration. And Jeff brings up something that I've noticed myself. Amos got really famous there for a while because he was in Singapore and getting arrested for his opinion. And as Americans, that is something that is, for most of us, it's not just foreign to us, it's actually repulsive, especially within this genre. So he got quite a bit of fame for that. And after it died down, it was just not there anymore. And Jeff makes the argument that Amos might not actually believe what he's saying right now. He's just trying to become relevant again. And I've heard that argument about him a few times, but Jeff lays it out very good there. And we also saw just the other day, Onision's trying to pick fights with everyone again because his channel's not doing as good as it used to. And there's the argument, you know, he doesn't really care about this stuff. He's just trying to make a name for himself. And this is kind of a deep topic / drama. So if there's other drama, let me know. But it just occurred to me that YouTube is kind of dangerous for some people. Amos Yee has effectively ruined his whole life. If he's not serious, which I sincerely hope he's not, it doesn't matter because for the rest of his life, there's video of him talking about how it's okay to fuck babies. And if Jeff's supposition is correct, it's all just to get fame again. That's scary to me. See, this is what I was talking about earlier, Polly, when I said humility is important in this. I take every viewer who watches me. I love them. I can't thank him enough for doing so. But so far, I haven't gotten to the point where I think my opinion is like the most important ever, or gotten to the point where, like, I look at my view count and like, why aren't people looking at me? I still take it as, wow, thank you guys so much for even giving a shit. And I was just thinking, wondering what you guys thought about that. Do you think things like that, or even any fame at all, is YouTube dangerous for some people? So should some people just stay the fuck away from it?
Well, I mean, Onision's such an easy go-to example. Especially people like that should stay away from it, especially when they get too far into it. Hammer and I were talking about this a little while ago. Like, what else does that guy have? And it's not like he's a comedian. It's not like he's a Scribe comedy writer. It's not like, you know, what can he even do? He can do low grade, low rent editing for YouTube. I've said this before. I'm going to walk into a Walmart sometime in Washington State, and it's going to be Onision saying, "Welcome to Walmart." It's going to happen because the guy's channel's bleeding, if not hemorrhaging, views and subs. And a bunch of people are like that. TJ Kirk, ex-Amazing Atheist, he's like that as well. It's once you've shoved a banana up your ass and you're known for it, and you're known for just railing online. I would say that videos that are commentary on things, what does Bering have to fear out of what he's done? What do you have to fear? What does Scribe have to fear? Amos has got a lot to fear. I agree. He's really painted himself. He's done a full-on face reveal. This is who I am, and good luck continuing on with that reputation because it doesn't come off easy.
Girls?
So the question is, should he be allowed on YouTube? What was the...
No, should he... With what we're seeing, do you think there's just personality types that really shouldn't be here? As them being a danger to themselves, basically.
I would rather Amos Yee publicly identify himself as being of this mind rather than being secret in a house somewhere where nobody knows.
What if
I don't think that there's Well, I'm not quite sure what you're asking, because otherwise, if the answer is yes, then how do you prevent that? What would you
I'm
do?
not even talking about preventing it. I'm just wondering
if you're dumb enough
just,
to, if you're dumb enough to make a public statement that is to your own detriment, that's life. I don't know what else to say. It's like making a blog post or any medium in the modern day, the current year on the internet. If you decide to tweet or Instagram or anything, this platform or any platform, if you express your ideas and they are unpopular and or shockingly immoral, and you're truthful about it, you roll the dice, you take your chances. I don't know.
well, do you think it's a personality type that can't handle this, or is this something everybody is suspect or is subjected to? Let's say tomorrow.
Can't handle what? What do you mean?
The fame and losing the fame.
Oh,
more
sure.
specifically.
There's plenty of people that can't handle it. We see it all the time. You know, child stars from. I mean, just as an example, just the most recent one. Look at the absolute power corrupts absolutely with Kevin Spacey or Charlie Rose or any of these guys that thought they were untouchable. You know, I mean, or people that just can't handle it. And there have been celebrities that have killed themselves, even though they have everything you think that they would want in the world, and it wasn't enough, and can't handle the pressure. You know, Kurt Cobain, so on and so on. This isn't a new story, so to speak. It's just a new medium, I suppose.
So, Monkey, are you asking about the particularly fleeting fame that comes with e-celebrity, or are you asking about
not just the fleeting fame? I mean, I've never seen a Hollywood celebrity who, you know, blew up real big and then you know, went away, suddenly start talking about pedophilia to get their fame back. You know what I mean? Or start picking fights with everybody to get their fame back. And I just wonder if this is something that is particular to the people that have been involved in it so far. The only person I can think of who had a decent amount of what we might call e-fame, and not a huge amount, but a decent, was Jenny McDermott, who had a decent following going. It completely blew up, and she's just gone back to doing videos herself the way she used to do them. And like the series, That Guy with the Glasses, you see a little bit of this, of the people who blow up and they can't handle it, and then it all falls apart, and then you see them struggling to get back. Real quick, thank you, Sir Wolfgang. Amos Yee went bullet meat foot. Never go full retard. If it was up to me, I'd put pedophiles under the fucking prison. Yeah, me too. I'm just watching this guy who's literally ruined his whole life, and if it was just for a joke, it's tragic. I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do to keep people off, and I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to silence anybody, but I just wonder how you deal with, somebody like Amos Yee 10 years from now, when he's trying to find any job he can, and he can't because he's come out publicly as a pro pedo.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and it might have all been for a joke.
Well, that's the problem, is that unless he, I honestly haven't seen the video in which he makes these statements or anything else. I've just heard it peripherally and everything else. But yeah, unless your job is a comedian, unless you've already given yourself an escape hatch of like making controversial statements or musing, waxing philosophical on things that most people wouldn't, that's your shtick, and you have a body of work that proves that ahead of time, that you can at least say, no, I was just, you know, playing devil's advocate. Yeah, it's going to be a question mark, especially something as shocking and as antithetical to Western civilization as this is. Yeah, he's fucked himself. I don't know how you get back from that. You know, but I would challenge the notion that you've never seen a celebrity start shit with other celebrities to get famous again. Andy Dick on Howard Stern, fading celebrities who are desperate. It's not a new thing, or any. I mean, even in social circles, you know, someone who's on the outs in a social environment, they'll do something outrageous or try to break down someone else in order to raise themselves, their profile back up. The pattern is completely familiar to me. The permanency of doing these kind of things now is far greater than it ever was when, you and I were kids, because you can't escape this stuff. Once you put it out there, it's there forever. Once it gets shared once, it's on the internet forever. Rare is the day that you do something and you can actually get rid of your mistake before it becomes a problem necessarily. But that's the risk you take these days. And I see stories sometimes of like either young people or people in their private lives, or as an example, the whole Jennifer Lawrence, the fappening controversy. Somehow people don't seem to understand that as soon as you make it digital, it's not necessarily safe anymore. So you have to approach what you say these days carefully, because even though, I don't want to self-censor myself, I don't want to hold back, so to speak. At the same time, I have to have an understanding that, not that I have, I think, any really controversial ideas or anything, but what you say is going to be there to be referenced later. I mean, Milo learned this lesson, obviously, with the whole talking about young boys at Hollywood parties and all that fun stuff. Nothing goes away. All of your sins are on the permanent record forever now, when you choose to make them so. And Amos Yee has, even if he comes out now and says it was all a joke, the question marks over his head for anybody that cares to Google him now or into the future. So,
well, do you think this is something everybody is susceptible to? If tomorrow you ended up with, say, a video that had 2 million views for whatever reason, it goes absolutely viral.
Sure.
And then for the next, say, 6 months, you enjoy this great shining light of the internet on you, and then it goes away. Do you think this is something you'd be susceptible to?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think so. I would hope not. I have a hard enough time taking a passing compliment from people saying they like my ads. I have a hard time giving myself much of credit for anything, and that's just my own problem. That's been an ingrained thing since I was a little kid. There are reasons for that. I won't go into it, but I think I would do okay, because I'm not in this for the fame. I'm in this for the catharsis. I'm in this for, honestly, there's two avenues I kind of take a look at this. And in one sense, I'm doing it for the catharsis, being able to express myself more freely than I can on, say, the cloistered environment of Facebook. And also the more socially risky environment of Facebook, depending on family members or people that you actually, want to stay in your life. The other thing too is that I don't know of any other way to sort of set down a record of I was here than this. I mean, granted that these videos or some aspect of them remain in the ether beyond my time on this planet, to get a little maudlin for a second. I would rather there be a recording in some fashion of my thoughts, who I was, what my perspective on the world was, and that in whatever way I can, not just completely disappear into namelessness after I'm no longer able to speak for myself. So if I have any ego or arrogance about what I'm doing, maybe that's it, that I'd like... if my brain rots away from Alzheimer's, somebody will remember what I thought.
Fair enough. What about you, Paul? You think you'd be?
I'd like to think not. I don't believe that that everybody's susceptible to it. I think some people might get caught up in it, but I think you see when certain people get caught up in it, and then they start trying to get controversy going because they notice their channel slipping. It's not just about money. It's you can see it when they're talking. They're just desperate for the added clicks and the added views because their self-worth is to some extent being determined by that. I'm in it, like Scribe's in it to sort of lay a record for himself, which is a sensible thing. It's understandable. I'm in it for the discussion, the ideas, and the occasional kecky laugh. That's why I'm here. And so, e-fame, oh man, it's just so fleeting. It could be gone in a second. I do not understand how anybody who's been watching on YouTube for more than a year, of the people that have risen and fallen, why you would take yourself seriously in doing this. Amos Yee, he's trying. Lots of people fuck their lives up in all kinds of stupid ways by making stupid decisions. Yeah, the platform allows one to broadcast and magnify their mistake, but it's still the same stupid dice roll. You know, what's Tommy Sotomayor's line? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Yeah.
His story, especially after watching Jeff, I had forgotten about some of the history of Amos Yee, and there's a good argument to be made that he did this just to get some relevance back. And if that is true, I mean, fucking your life up for that it's tragic to me. And I was just curious of you guys' thoughts. So I'm done with that. If you guys wanted to look at the root or had anything else to discuss.
No, not particularly. I mean, that guy is such a downer of a subject. I mean, yeah, he absolutely fucked his life up, but it's, instead of railing against the guy, oh man, cautionary tale par excellence. Look at it. I mean, don't do stupid shit.
Yeah.
And when your fame is based upon controversy, you're playing a rough game. Are you ready for it? Take a look at Milo. He deals in controversy like some people deal in money and stocks and stuff. It's his trade. It's a rough game. Are you ready for that? I don't want to play that game personally. Do
you still have your root article open?
I do. Well, I couldn't a second. There it is. What was our root article? I have to believe this is meant as comedy. The Caucasian's Guide to Black Thanksgiving Part 1, the guest list.
In a lot of what the root does is supposed to be comedy, but it's comedy based on what they see as the real world. I don't give them a pass for being comedy. Let me put it that way. Because they're morons.
I don't. Either. There's always supposed to be a kernel of truth in it. They're playing the Jon Stewart game. You should be taking this seriously until somebody gets pissed off, and then what do you mean? It was just a joke, bro. Relax. As part of the Root's ongoing efforts to satisfy the curiosity of our Caucasian constituency. That's us, guys.
Yay.
We have decided to give you a peek inside some of the cultural customs of Black America. One of the oldest and most heralded traditions of the African American community is the ceremony known as Black Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that's what they call it too.
I thought it was Kwanzaa was the Christmas analog, right? Okay, yeah. My bad.
Black Thanksgiving has nothing to do with the colonization and genocide of the Native Americans. Ours is a semi-religious ritual based upon food, family, and sweet potato pie. It's an annual mini family reunion without matching purple t-shirts or barbecue smoke in your eyes.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I missed a super chat here. Sanguine, thank you. Sure. Only way to recover from something insane like this is swing to the counter and attack. Everyone loves a redemption. I going back to Amos, I just don't see him ever being able to recover from what the stupid shit he said. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, I'm going to on the fly edit some of this. Scribe, you would hate this. This is terrible. It is impossible for one to fully understand Black Thanksgiving without knowing the cast of characters. Let's get to the cast of characters. Aunts, depending what part of the country you're from. The first thing you must know about the Black family tradition is the nomenclature assigned to relatives. It has nothing to do with the traditional definitions assigned by white people to their family members. For white people, an aunt refers to a woman who is the sister of your mother or father. This does not hold true in the Black community. In the Black community, an aunt is any woman more than 15 years older than you who's been around your family for more than 10 years. Every lady on the street where you grew up is an aunt.
Okay.
Wait. I know I saw Pat and Satsu here. Are you guys still here? I'm going to need you to verify what I'm being told about Black people. Because when you get to cousins, I know that one's true. But
we need our chief Black correspondents to tell us something.
Black correspondents, where are you at? Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is I forgot to name the author here, Michael Harriot, who is, of course, the duly elected representative of black people, explain to us.
Michael Harriet. He's a bigwig at the Root, and I see his stuff occasionally on IO9, I think, too.
Yeah, I was just reading his stuff. He's a staff writer for The Root, host of the Black One podcast, and an editor-in-chief of the digital magazine Niggas Who Read.
Oh, God, that's right.
Niggas who
Nega.
read?
NEGG. Yeah.
Nega, okay.
Yeah, and it's like the Negus of the Ferengi. That's how it's
The Grand Negus.
Yeah. Hyper nerdy reference for those who know.
Yes.
Your aunt. Oh, wow. Sometimes your actual aunt doesn't qualify as an aunt. If your grandparents had a female child late in life, she is still the sister of your mother or father. But she's close to your age. Then according to the black definition, she becomes your cousin. An aunt is very old and can even become a grandmother. I know it's a little complicated for the Caucasian mind, but you'll learn.
Dumb white people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I read through this article, and there's two things he does through the entire thing: live up to every black stereotype imaginable and present it as if it's wonderful and charming. And then the second thing is the constant blatantly racist down talking to white folks. You're a bitter man, sir. As it relates to Black Thanksgiving, ants have a special role. The kitchen is the domain of the ant. The ants are the only people allowed to make macaroni. I'm pretty sure that it's in the Bible. According to Macaronians 2:23, Jesus blessed all the ants with the gift of an elbow and cheese-related pasta dish. It is a substantial part of the phenomenon we call black girl magic.
Oh, I've heard of this before.
Yes. Jesse, what's his name? Black folks are magical. Remember that speech? Oh, wow. Yeah. Uncles are defined in the same way that ants are listed in the Universal Book of Black Families. All deacons are uncles. All black fathers' homeboys are uncles. Uncles know how to fix alternator belts while puffing on a Benson and Hedges. At Black Thanksgiving, one of the uncles will pray. Usually it is an uncle who prays the longest. The pre-Thanksgiving prayer is one of the longest prayers in the African tradition, second only to the altar call at a pastor's anniversary. Okay. Uncles will always bring a bottle of brown liquor. You might not see it, but trust me, it's there. If you're wondering what particular brand of whiskey or cognac they will bring, I just told you, all uncles drink the same brand of liquor. Brown.
Okay.
Cousins are all relatives within 15 years of your age. Anyone older is either an aunt or an uncle. Younger ones are nieces or nephews. There's nothing that brings a smile to a black person's face like seeing a cousin. I imagine it's how white people feel when they eat toast.
Okay.
All white people love toast. I do like toast. Am I?
Sourdough.
Sourdough is delicious, yeah.
Yeah, sourdough.
You can call it a bagel or English muffin, but that shit is all toast to us, and y'all love it.
Y'all.
Cousins are best friends, confidants, and protectors. A cousin will fight for you, even if you're wrong. A cousin will make fun of you, but punch a random non-family member in the throat for saying the same thing. A cousin will let you wear the clothes to the club and will give you your first drink, which they stole from your uncle.
I'm confused.
Doesn't matter. At Black Thanksgiving, cousins perform the perfunctory duties. There is a cousin chain of command that eventually ends at the macaroni level that goes like this. Level 1, Kool-Aid making. Level 2, cups, napkins, plates, and plastic forks. Level 3, bringer of the aluminum foil. Level 3, part 2, fixer of plates. Level 5, allowed in the kitchen. The rest of the black people at Thanksgiving are an eclectic mix of random attendees, including the newly woke person. This could be an aunt, uncle, or invitee, or just a cousin that just got out of jail.
Yeah, getting out of jail, well, that makes you totes woke.
Yes. And apparently it's a common occurrence in black households, as the duly elected Speaker of Black People has informed us. They will tell everyone how they are a vegan 1,292 times. They inject white supremacy into every topic. Oh, wow. That's remarkably unself-aware of you. They will ask the collards to have pork in them. They don't eat pork, but they will eat those collard greens. Okay.
Okay.
The Saturday relative. There's always one aunt that can't cook shit, but she arrives in her new Benz, and she just earned her PhD in International Superiority Studies. She's going to bring...
I'm sorry, real quick. Pat,
Yeah.
do you have a bunch of relatives who just got out of jail for Thanksgiving? I'm just asking.
Are they woke?
Are they woke as fuck? Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to know myself. The religious one. Are you saved? Oh no, wait a minute. I jumped over the relative with the PhD in international superiority studies. She's going to bring a store-bought dessert from an artisanal bakery and wonder why no one is eating it. Because Aunt Linda's sweet potato pie, nigga.
Oh my God.
Wow. Damn, I am so woke right now.
The almonds are activating. The religious one. Are you saved? No, white people. I don't mean saving money. This is not a financial question. It is questioning your existential status. Saved, in short, is saved, sanctified, and giving 10% of your income to a man who drives a car that's better than yours. Definite answer to this, because you will be quizzed on this by at least one person in attendance. This is not a thing like that. All uncles are either drunk or saved. We don't like labels, even on our liquor. Just
real quick. Thank you, Sanguine. Well, at least it isn't false advertising. They never said they were niggas who can write. Negas. Sorry, I said it wrong. Negas.
Oh, and the last random attendee is the white girl. There's always one cousin with a white girlfriend, usually the newly woke relative. She's usually very nice and will always bring a dish. It will end up being the relative's cheesecake. It is not that we're prejudiced against white food. It's just that we question the cleanliness of white people's kitchens. After all, y'all kiss your dogs on the mouth, so your germ tolerance is higher than ours. We know that in the Bible it says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, so shalt there be a Becky. So we're just used to it. I'm steadily getting more frustrated. It's almost at the end. That's a good thing. The rest of the invitation needs no explanation. The aunt who lives with your other single aunt.
Oh, God.
The grandparent who cusses. The coworker who doesn't have any family around, so your family adopted him. The badass nephew who finds your uncle's bottle. The family member who had to work on Thanksgiving, who's the only one authorized to fix a plate. The emo cousin. Every family member has a version of all these people. But when they come together and feast for Black Thanksgiving, we all become one. Until the fight starts. Okay. Until the fight starts. But Black Thanksgiving is much about the arguments as it is about the love until the fight starts. It is about the tradition. It is about family. It is about the only day a year we have as a respite from the world around us as we gather to celebrate our delicious blackness without worrying about white people coming around. Except for that one white girl in her shitty tuna casserole. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Too much brown liquor, but I have an excuse. I'm an uncle now.
Thank you, Cryptic. Notice the father is mostly missing. Sorry, low blow. Wow.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like I've been through a cultural enrichment class.
Yes.
I'm so woke.
We are all woke because of that story.
Do you feel informed? Do you understand African American citizens better now?
I'm so informed. I've transcended time and space.
Yes.
Net says, is the root aware that this article makes Black people sound stupid and inbred? No, they're not, because they think it's funny.
No. Yeah, exactly. I think it's
us. Thank you, Snub Earth. I call bullshit Black emos.
I know. I noticed that.
Oh, Jesus.
How do you wear dark eyeliner and look like you're depressed if you're dark skinned?
Yeah.
Come on, that's not a thing.
Your boy Pat.
There's no Black people on Hot Topic. Who are you kidding?
Your boy Pat says that shit was ghetto as fuck. You know how I know that that's not real? He didn't mention hot sauce one time. He mentioned Kool-Aid, which, let's be honest, is how you do blood transfusions for Black people. But he didn't mention hot sauce, so that I call bullshit. Thank you, Gregory Hurst. How much you want to bet this guy laughs like crazy at Tyler Perry movies? And thank you, Kingsley. That article was like Jive, a fucking minstrel show. Was like a live fucking minstrel show. He's going to start shucking and jiving next. Yeah. Real quick, guys, I didn't even notice the time. It is 10. It's almost 10:40. It's your time. Questions, comments, concerns. Now's the time to throw them out there. Man, that article was bad.
It was.
I appreciate it for what it was trying to do, trying to be funny. I give people a pass for trying to be funny, but man, white people in toast. There's so many better things you could have went with white people.
And
if you had to pick just one white people food, what would it be?
More of a beverage.
Yeah, thank you, your boy Pat.
You got your pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, that's for white girls.
That's true.
Barf.
Pat says he didn't mention chitlins either. Yeah, I noticed that.
I cooked chitlins before, and I will be doing so again this holiday season. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Chitlins and hog maws?
Chaos Eve would like me to ask you why you like sucking dick so much.
Chaos Eve would like to ask, Scribe, why is that?
No, it's to ask Polly why he likes sucking dick so much.
I'm pretty sure that was meant for Scribe. Chaos gets down like that.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what her problem with Scribe is, but every night in Discord, just on, and we're like, Scribe's cool, man. Leave him alone. But no, she won't let up.
Oh, she's stalking me.
No, that's Weebs.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, guys. If you do have questions, throw them out there now. Where are you from, Polydub?
I'm from North America.
There you go.
There you go. How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
No, I'm 30.
30, okay.
Okay, I'll see. Is she stalking me? No, I love you, Scribe. Oh, that clears everything up. Thanks.
Yeah, I've got a clip from you and Scribe doing a rendition of Happy Birthday for me. I posted on my channel because it was fucking classic. It was really funny. You guys did a really good one. So that was my 30th birthday a couple months ago. Starting that slow slide into senility, which admittedly will be an easy transition for me.
Mm-hmm.
We did a good rendition. I think your senility is already kicked in.
Well, yeah. It was good in the sense that Tommy Wiseau's The Room was good.
Jesus.
Damn.
Good God. All right. Thanks a lot.
I am both offended and proud. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do.
Weevil wants to know, are Polish people Caucasian people of color?
Well, they're European.
Can't you define white by Polish?
Oh, don't lump us all together.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a Polish sausage and you put a little heat to it, it does brown a little bit.
Hey, Weebo, does your dad make Polish sausage jokes about his dick?
To your mom.
Well, her mom and then broke up. I don't know if he's with anybody
that's right.
now.
Oh, my bad. I forgot.
Yeah, you always like bringing that up and rubbing it in her face. Good job.
Broken homes are funny.
Oh my God. Oh man. If you were Asian, would you spell your name Scribe right?
We've done this
with
before.
An R instead of the W.
Yeah, we've done this before. Yeah, I'm half Asian, so maybe.
Joy of Sorrow says, I thought Polish were Jews by default. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where are we going with this?
Wow. Freedom Fighter asked a question I'm not even following. You should check out a DAB podcast coming up on AP, the Frogs channel. Like, wow. That's going to require some explanation. You lost me.
I don't know what that means.
I'm
not cool enough to know what that means.
I know what it means. I could get to the podcast the podcast. You mean stream? Or does AP Frog now have a...
No, this is kind of like a podcast, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. People have asked us to do that before, make these podcasts. And
why aren't you posting these on iTunes? That was something I was wondering about a while back.
Because as you've noted, we'd each have to do it individually. We don't have a shared channel kind of thing.
Yeah, and if anything was, gained of that, it'd have to go somewhere like a common bucket. I don't even know how we do that unless we started like making our own company or something. That's all types of crazy stuff that I don't feel like going through myself.
Yeah,
Deco's asking about that terabyte of Fuda porn. That wasn't me. That was Inquisitor.
Okay.
Inquisitor collects Fuda porn. He's weird like that.
Fuda? I don't even know what Fuda is.
It's hentai chicks with dicks.
Okay.
Yeah, you know all about that, right?
No. I know it exists. I don't know much about it, but
It's an ongoing joke. He's really into, yeah, Fuda hentai, basically.
Oh, Skeptalk says Polly really fits in with Scribe Light and Ranting Monkey.
Is that a gay joke?
Yeah, I don't know how to respond to compliments either.
Yeah,
Screw
exactly.
you, man.
See, that is the best way to approach life. Give yourself no credit and keep your ego down below your feet.
Yeah. Actually, I've got a question for Scribe.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Scribe. I love your videos, and at the same time, I hate them. And here's why.
Okay.
You have an unerring ability to pick targets or subjects, rather, for your videos that depress the fuck out of me. Because as you've said, you end up picking people that have influence or positions of power or so on. It's not like somebody doing a video on a blue hair feminist or something like that. These are people that have sway. How do you watch these videos again and again? Because you must be selecting them from a whole host and you're only picking a small portion of them to choose as a video subject. How do you handle it, man? Because it would drive me crazy.
Well, I look at it as sort of a necessary evil. You know, when I was first exposed to this stuff, when it was just bubbling up, like my first exposure to this was one of Mr. Medicker's Tumblrism videos. He was talking about white privilege and these terms and things that I'd never heard of before. And I thought they were so fringe. I thought, this is such weird stuff. I've never heard this. I mean, I've been on the internet since the internet existed. And I've never heard this stuff, but of course I don't really haunt 4chan and all this other stuff. So I was kind of like, whatever. Until the day that someone I knew started telling me about my white privilege. And I was like, oh shit, this isn't some kind of like corner fringe thing. And of course, then by the time Gamergate came around, it all started blowing up. So I watch this stuff because I need to know what's going on, who's saying what. I don't want to be caught off guard again. I don't want to feel like I'm dismissing something that will turn into a problem. So I'd rather confront it, sit through it, and grind through the nonsense, because I think that's really the only way for myself to dispel it sort of intellectually and criticize it. And also hopefully show other people that, yeah, this stuff is out there, but it is defeatable as long as you pay enough attention and you don't let them get away with some of the nonsense they're saying. And you got a super chat.
Yeah, thank you, I Rate Prostate. Paid announcement, I Rate Prostate streaming with Chris Worski Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Cool.
Ooh, whose channel?
Yeah, whose channel is that going to be on? And
I assume the Worski's, but don't
Chris is a really nice guy. I enjoy talking with him.
Yeah, I've got a long video coming up. I got a inspirational speaker at a women's conference who's a guy telling them about men's role in the workplace.
Oh, nice.
It's hilarious.
Longer than that, like 26-minute DACA speaker for the TEDx talk?
Yeah, this is unless I decide to chop pieces out, it's going to turn into a 35, 40-minute fucking tirade. So, I mean,
that DACA speaker, it was an impressive video, because it's just, God, that guy was so full of shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he wasn't obviously a professional speaker or like someone in power or anything,
no.
But the stuff he was saying is from other videos and other speeches and things that I've read and seen, it's representative of a lot of the rhetoric and arguments being made. And like I say in the video, there's certain aspects to what he's saying that I do agree with or can empathize with. That doesn't excuse everything, though.
No,
real quick,
sorry, Monk,
sorry. I Rate Prostate says it's going to be on his channel, and
Okay.
Apparently we're not supposed to say nugget.
Nugget? Why?
It makes Lycan want to vomit. I don't know why. So don't say nugget. Nugget is a bad word. Don't say nugget.
I could go for some chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
I like
some Wendy's nugs. That's where it's at.
What happened to Lynn Nuggets? We had a viewer a long time ago, Lynn Nuggets. Is he still around? Or she? Oh, they're right there. There it is. Oh my God. I have invoked it right there. I wasn't even paying attention.
I've invoked it. Your words are incantations, sir.
Oh my God. I summon people just by saying their names. Ooh, who shall I summon next?
Dan I don't know how you say that. Demis Grin says, "Can we do anything for net neutrality, Ranting Monkey?" What should have happened with net neutrality originally, if we're not going to make it a utility, which we really should, your congressman, call your fucking congressman. That should have gone through Congress in the first place.
Yeah, call.
Which does more than you'd think.
Call your congressman. Find the phone number, call their office, tell them voice to voice, email them. I mean, that's what they're there for.
It literally is.
And conceivably, they do care about what you want, because if they want to get reelected. So I've done it. I mean, I've done it on net neutrality before. I'm going to do it again about this. Call your congressman, because the FCC is one thing, but they don't have complete power so long as you have the congressman on your side, because legislation can come down that the FCC can't do much about.
And if you're ever in the district, get a hold of your senator or congressman. Believe it or not, they will absolutely speak to you. If you're not a constituent, the chances are slim to none. Yeah. And that tells you a lot. And go in there and be calm and just say, this is what I feel. And they consider it to be representative of, if one person is saying this, this many of my constituents must feel the same way. It has an effect, because God knows SJWs contact them all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you take the time to contact them. This is actually a rule even in customer service. If nobody's talking about it, then you don't worry about it. But if somebody is, especially if it's a complaint, the numbers that they've done studies on, if somebody's complaining about something, they're usually complaining to at least 10 of their friends about it. Contact your congressman. It's not a guarantee, but it does more than you think. That's a good way of putting it.
If only the victims of Harvey Weinstein had thought about that 30 years ago.
What's that, Monkey? You're not going to read that super chat? It's a good idea.
No, I just hadn't gotten there yet. Smash that like button, like pop, like they keep calling you Ploy. That's a.
We thought you misspelled things.
You know Pop-Tart, Lucky Pop-Tart. Yeah,
Poppy.
That's her thing. When she's expressing contempt at me, she calls me Ploy. And
okay, so smash that on it. Smash that thumbs up button like Ploy's mom. There you go.
My mother's a saint.
Wait. Ploy's mom smashes the like button? Okay.
Yeah.
I shot an elephant in my pajamas. Oh, really? What was it doing in pajamas?
What did the doctor say to the infant with a chromosome disorder? Don't let the extra chromosome get you downs. That was Weibo.
Who says, I have a voice that's like beautiful music. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have a very nice voice.
Well, nice. Coming from you, Monkey, I take that as high praise indeed.
Well, thank you so much. You know,
I got a joke. Sorry.
Oh, please do.
Oh, you heard that the former star of Touched by an Angel, Della Reese, passed away?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's just hope that ravenous fans of that show don't dig up her body and start selling off her bones as religious items and start calling them Reese's Pieces.
Oh my God, that is disturbing and sad and funny at the same time.
I know. Anyway.
Reese's Pieces. Oh my God. Fucking Scribe, you fucked me up for the rest of the show.
Yay!
What else do we have going on here, guys?
A lot of references to my mother. Thanks, chat.
Yeah. Polly and Monkey have radio announcer voices, and I'm stuck with this gobbledygook that I have.
I like your voice. Stop that.
So do I. Yeah.
Cryptic says, when does a joke become a dad joke? When the punchline becomes apparent.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That is good. I'll give you that. Oh, fuck.
Lycan asks, what the hell is touched by an angel even about? Oh, is about being touched by an angel in an inappropriate manner.
Who do you report getting touched by an angel to? The priest.
Yeah. hey, Father, I'm being touched by an angel. Oh, okay, I'll fix that.
Weibo's being mean to you. Do you want me to read that out loud, or you just want to deal with her yourself?
Oh, go ahead.
She says, Ranting Monkey, it's like listening to two Velvet voices plus Kermit live.
Oh, Miss Piggy's angry.
Oh my God. I had nothing to do with starting this fight. I just want that known. Ploy, will you feel alienated on the zoo stream tonight?
Will I feel alienated?
That's what it says.
I always feel at home with that bunch.
That came from Zelthor.
Oh. Zelthor's the man. Love Zelthor.
The old gamer says, sorry, I just got here. Will net neutrality somehow keep us from telling bad jokes? Probably not.
Depends.
It'll just cost more.
Depends on who hears the joke and how they decide to interpret it.
Jack Cochran.
Go ahead.
The Jack motherfucking Cochran wants to know, is Weibo really 3 apples high? I'm not sure how high she is.
I don't know. How many apples did she use as bongs?
Indeed. She is a college student.
No. Monkey, say it with respect. It's Jack motherfucking Cochran. Say it like, you gotta.
Like I mean it.
Black don't crack, chest. And neither does Jack.
Jack Cochran's hilarious. I love that guy. So he's a great shit poster. He's awesome to have in chat.
Wait, Weibo Jones says, you ain't getting anywhere near my luscious pork chops, Scribbles. Is that your name for them? Holy shit, how big are they?
Do your pork chops bring all the boys to the yard? Claxton
no,
Bar,
but they are
thank
better
you so
than
much.
yours.
Nothing much to say, but loving your streams. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for watching. I don't add much to them. It's mostly Scribe. So you guys are pro net neutrality. Didn't realize that communism was your thing. It's not about communism. It's about the net. It's about the internet should be a public utility by now. As Scribe. Go ahead.
No, sorry. That was. I didn't mean. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as Scribe pointed out earlier, it is a communication line no different at this point than the phones used to be, and there's no reason for them not to be a public utility at this point. Thank you, Cryptic. What is it called when a chameleon can't change its colors anymore? A reptile dysfunction. God damn it.
That's a bad joke.
Peterbilt says, we've got them big labia.
Yeah, Pat says better than ham hocks. Yeah. She wants to call hers pork chops. Yeah, all right, better than ham hocks, it's true. Weibo, I think you've got shovel tongue syndrome because you keep digging a hole.
Oh yeah, now that I'm here, SDA's not here in person, but in spirit. And she does a lot of vampire fiction and stuff like that. Me and a number of the other minions, Farzusmi and Pop-Tart and Fat Platypus, we did a commentary for the complete series of Twilight films. All 5, we made it through. And it's painful, but
you asked me how I maintain my sanity watching some of the shit I do. Jesus.
Well, I'll tell you how we maintained ours in Mystery Science Theater 3000 fashion or Riff Tracks fashion. We watched them together and recorded the commentary, just cracking jokes on them, and that's how you make it through. You're just pointing like, "What the fuck, Bella? What are you And it was a lot of fun. I'm just editing them now, and I'm gonna be posting them up. I will get around to it, but we've completed all 5, and the idea is that you watch it along with your own movie for the hilarity's sake of getting through it. We would love SDA to come and do something like that with us. We're set up to do The Last Vampire on Earth, probably the worst vampire fanfic ever put to film, homage to Twilight.
Oh God, Red Letter Media reviewed that.
Yes.
Oh.
I had never heard of it until I saw the Red Letter Media review.
Oh man.
And we're going to do a commentary of it. We're looking forward to it. SDA, we'd love to have you come on. I know you're busy, but if you got the time, that'd be hilarious. But yeah. And yeah, Scribe, good for you loving Red Letter Media. I've heard you mention it a bunch of times. How
Red Letter's great. Almost nothing they've done hasn't made me laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
2-minute warning, guys. So if you got last-second questions, now's the time.
Oh, yeah. The hashtag Polly Needs a Wrench movement was successful. I'm happy to see that I now have a wrench. It was a groundswell of grassroots support. Yay.
That's what happens when you call your senator.
What you guys don't know is that anytime you guys say something in chat that, like, if I miss a super chat and if Lady Monkey's here, I get a text. She will text me and go, "You guys missed it," and I thank her for that because there are times we just do miss them. It happens. We don't like when we do it any more than you guys don't like when we do it. But tonight I get this text. God, maybe 20 minutes after I gave you a wrench from my wife telling me I need to give you a wrench. I'm like, I already fucking did it. Leave me alone. Yeah,
so it's really Team Monkey. It's not just you.
No, it's not. And she looks out for us on that one because, for the record, guys, don't bug her about stupid shit. But yeah, if we miss a super chat, definitely tell her because she will get it to me. But yeah, she looks out for the stream.
We're at the top of the
invite
hour.
Polly back.
Oh, sorry.
Real quick, Skeptalk says, invite Polly back. Seriously, he's really good. Don't tell him I said this. I'll keep it on the down low. Yeah. And with that, guys, that is the top of the hour. So we're going to wrap this one up. Chad, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for always showing up and being so active with us. You really are part of the show, whether you realize it or not. And we couldn't do it without you. I mean, we could, but it'd be a lot more boring. Scribe, a pleasure as always. Polly, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed this one.
It was a blast.
Chat, everybody, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.